All right. Ready to dive into some seriously deep stuff today.
Always.
We're talking leadership.
Ooh.
Or really kind of what happens when it all goes wrong.
Oh, yeah.
When those in charge, doesn't even have to be politics or anything, just any group, make choices that have some crazy consequences.
Yeah.
To explore this, we're turning to
Okay.
an ancient text that's actually surprisingly relevant.
Interesting.
The book of Ezekiel,
Oh, wow.
specifically chapters 19 through 24.
Okay.
Buckle up.
You might be thinking, wait, the Bible?
Uh-huh.
What's that got to do with my life?
Right.
But trust me, Ezekiel doesn't hold back.
Laid on me.
He was this prophet living in exile.
Exile.
Yeah.
Tough.
Watching his whole nation just crumble under bad leadership.
Yikes.
And he had some strong words from God to share.
So like a warning from history.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a reminder that bad leadership, whether it's government, business, our own lives even,
Right.
can have some devastating consequences.
For sure.
So paint me a picture.
Okay.
Who was this Ezekiel guy? Why should we care what he was saying thousands of years ago?
Okay, well, imagine being ripped from your home and watching everything you know and love fall apart.
Oh, man.
That was Ezekiel's reality.
Wow.
He was a priest living among the Israelites
Okay.
who were captured and exiled by the Babylonians.
Not a good time.
No, not at all. And it wasn't just bad luck.
How?
Ezekiel saw this as a direct consequence of their leaders' choices.
Choices, huh?
Yeah, turning away from God,
Okay.
a whole lot of social injustice.
So God chose Ezekiel to deliver some hard truths.
Basically.
Not just to the Israelites back then.
Nope.
To anyone in power, really.
I mean, it's a message that still resonates today.
Right.
For anyone in a position of leadership.
Okay, so it's like a timeless warning
Right.
that bad leadership, again, government, business, personal lives, can have seriously devastating consequences.
Absolutely.
And Ezekiel uses some pretty vivid imagery to get this point across.
Well, yeah, he doesn't shy away from strong imagery.
Right off the bat, chapter 19.
Okay.
He throws out these metaphors of a lioness losing her cubs
Oh, wow.
and a once thriving vine
Okay.
being completely scorched.
Intense.
So let's unpack that a little.
Okay.
What's the deal with the lioness and the vine?
So the lioness,
Yeah.
often seen as a symbol of powerful leadership, right?
Makes sense.
But here, she loses her cubs,
Oh.
which represent the fall of rulers.
Oh, I see.
One taken captive, the
Yeah.
other destroyed, despite its strength.
So it's like watching
Yeah.
a seemingly invincible leader or nation
Right.
suddenly brought to their knees.
Forgetful image, right.
Yeah. And then there's the vine.
Yeah.
Classic image of prosperity and abundance, reduced to ashes.
It's stark.
A bleak picture of what happens
Yeah.
when leaders make choices that harm their people.
Powerful stuff.
That's heavy.
It is.
It reminds me of those stories you hear
Oh, yeah.
about like companies that were on top of their game,
Right.
but then they had a CEO who made bad calls.
Right.
And the whole thing just came crashing down.
A timeless tale, unfortunately.
It is.
And it's not just about the leaders themselves. It's
Oh,
about the
well.
people depending on them.
Right.
The people who get hurt when those in charge
Yeah.
prioritize their own interests.
Over the well-being of the group.
Exactly, like a ripple effect,
Oh, yeah.
where one bad decision at the top
Yeah.
can send shockwaves through the whole system.
And that's where the vine metaphor really hits home.
Right.
It's not just about the vine being destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the fact that it can no longer produce fruit,
Right.
can't nourish those who depend on it.
Yeah,
It's like a whole society being deprived of its potential
exactly.
because of the actions of a few.
And I think that's a crucial point that Ezekiel is trying to make.
What's that?
Leadership. It isn't just about power or authority.
Oh, there's more.
It's about responsibility,
Okay.
about using your influence to nurture and protect those you're leading.
And when leaders forget that,
Everyone suffers.
okay, so we've got this warning
Yeah.
about the consequences of bad leadership.
Uh-huh.
But then
Yeah.
in chapter 20,
Okay.
things take a bit of a turn.
Interesting.
It's almost like a history lesson, walking us through
Oh, yeah.
Israel's, shall we say, complicated relationship with God.
You could say that.
This chapter's fascinating
It is.
because it shows how,
Yeah.
despite their constant rebellion,
Mm-hmm.
straying from their covenant with God,
Yeah.
he repeatedly offers them second chances.
It's really a reminder that even when we mess up,
We all do.
make choices that hurt ourselves and others,
Right.
there's still a possibility for forgiveness and restoration.
There's this one line that really struck me.
Oh, yeah.
For the sake of R, my name, I withheld my hand.
Mm.
It's almost like God is saying,
Mm.
look, I could have wiped you out a long time ago for all the things you've done.
Right.
But I'm choosing to show mercy.
Wow.
To give you another chance.
It really makes you think about the nature of divine grace, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
What do we do with those second chances?
Right.
Do we see them as an opportunity to learn and grow?
Yeah.
Change our ways?
Okay.
Align ourselves with a higher purpose?
Like that.
Or do we squander them?
Oh.
Continuing down the same destructive path?
That's the question.
That's a really good question.
Thanks.
I think we've all had those moments in our lives where we've been given a second chance, whether it's in a relationship, a job, or even just a personal goal that we've been struggling with.
We've all been there.
And those moments can be so powerful.
They can.
Those opportunities to course correct and make things right.
Absolutely.
It's almost like a reset button.
I like that.
A chance to start fresh.
Yeah, but it's up to us to seize that opportunity and make the most of it.
Because as we'll see in the coming chapters, God's patience isn't limitless.
Yeah, there's a point.
There comes a point where actions have consequences.
They do.
Even for those in power.
Ooh, that's a good place to leave it for now.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Yeah, those second chances, they're precious.
And the consequences of squandering them.
Well, let's just say Ezekiel doesn't sugarcoat things.
Oh, boy.
Chapter 21.
Okay.
This is where the imagery gets really intense.
Ooh.
Ezekiel talks about this sharpened sword, unsheathed and ready to strike.
Ooh,
It's a pretty clear symbol of God's impending judgment, right?
Yeah. I was going to say, that sounds pretty ominous.
Yeah, it's like this moment where divine patience has reached its limit and things are about to get real.
Okay, I can practically hear the dramatic music swelling.
Right.
Wait, didn't you mention something about a future king?
I did.
That there's like hope mixed in with all this talk of judgment?
You're right. That's where things get interesting.
Yeah.
See, the sword, while definitely signifying punishment, it also points towards a future king who will bring true justice. It's like this glimmer of hope. Amidst all the chaos, you know?
Right.
A promise that even though things might get rough, there's a brighter future coming.
Like one of those stories where the hero emerges from the darkest times.
Yes.
When everything seems lost.
Yeah.
But then someone steps up and sets things right.
And some scholars believe this is even a hint at the Messiah.
Oh, wow.
This figure who would ultimately restore balance.
And
usher in a new era of peace and righteousness.
So even amidst all this talk of judgment, there's this thread of hope woven throughout.
It's like saying, hey, things are bad right now, but hold on.
Because something better is coming.
That's powerful.
It is.
Especially for those, going through tough times themselves.
Right.
It's like that reminder.
Yeah.
When things feel hopeless, there's still a reason to believe things can get better.
Absolutely.
But that hope doesn't negate the need for action in the present.
Oh, no, not at all.
And that brings us to chapter 22.
Okay.
Where Ezekiel really lays into the saves of Jerusalem.
He does not hold back here.
We're talking corruption, violence, idolatry.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards.
It's like a society in total moral decay.
That's a pretty bleak picture.
It sounds a bit like the headlines today.
Oh, yeah, I see that.
All this social unrest, ethical scandals.
It's a lot.
It can feel kind of overwhelming.
It can.
Like things are just falling apart.
And it's in this context
that
we get that chilling line.
Uh-oh, which one?
I looked for someone to stand in the gap. But I found no one.
Wow.
It's like this.
Who's willing to step up and make a difference? To fight for justice, try to turn things around.
To stand in the gap.
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
It's a powerful image of someone literally standing in a breach in a wall.
Oh, wow.
Holding back the enemy.
Yeah.
Protecting those who are vulnerable.
Wow. I like that.
It's about taking responsibility, not just sitting back and complaining about how bad things are.
Oh, right.
But actively working to make things better.
So it's not about pointing fingers or waiting for someone else to fix it.
No.
It's about taking action ourselves.
Yes, exactly.
I think we see this all the time, right?
I think so.
Think about the people fighting for social justice, working to protect the environment, or even just, speaking up against bullying in schools or workplaces.
They're all, in a sense, standing in the gap.
Yeah. trying to make the world a better place.
And I think that resonates deeply with Ezekiel's overall message. He's not just pointing out the problems. He's calling people to action, urging them to step up, be part of the solution.
And that responsibility falls on each of us.
It does.
Not just those in positions of authority.
Right. We all have a role to play.
Okay, so we've got this call to action.
Yeah.
This idea of standing in the gap. Mm-hmm. But then, chapter 23 takes a bit of a strange turn.
It does, doesn't it?
This whole allegory about two sisters, Oholah and Oholibah.
Yeah, those two.
To be honest, that one kind of threw me for a loop.
I can see that.
What's the deal with these sisters?
Well, remember, Ezekiel loved using metaphors.
He did.
To get his point across.
Okay.
And these sisters,
they're
not literal people.
Oh.
They represent Samaria and Jerusalem.
Oh, okay.
And their unfaithfulness.
Yeah.
In quotes.
Their adultery.
Okay.
It's not about physical infidelity.
Got it.
It's about spiritual betrayal.
Oh, I see.
Putting other things before God.
Prioritizing wealth, power, other nations.
Yeah.
Over their relationship with the divine.
I'm starting to see the connection here.
Yeah.
So it's not just about breaking religious rules. Mm-hmm. It's about this deeper betrayal of trust.
Exactly.
Putting your loyalty in the wrong place.
I think we can all relate to that on some level.
Oh, for sure.
We all have those things we might be tempted to prioritize over our deeper values or commitments. Maybe it's our career, our relationships, or even just our desire for comfort and security.
Okay.
It's about recognizing those potential idols in our own lives and making sure they don't take precedence
over what truly matters.
Exactly.
That's a powerful thought.
It is.
Just like a gut check, right?
It is.
Asking ourselves, what am I really devoted to? Are my actions lining up with my values?
It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day hustle.
So easy.
But taking a step back and asking those questions can be incredibly revealing.
Yeah. And sometimes it might mean making some tough choices.
Right.
Reevaluating our priorities.
Okay.
Making adjustments to ensure we're staying true to what we believe in.
So it's about aligning our actions with our values.
Yes.
Making sure we're not letting those idols lead us astray.
A challenge.
For sure.
Definitely a challenge.
But it's definitely worth it.
It is.
And that challenge gets even more intense in chapter 24.
Uh-oh. What happens?
Remember, Ezekiel's been delivering these messages of judgment, these warnings about what's going to happen if people don't change their ways.
Right.
And then God tells him that his wife will die.
Oh, my gosh.
But here's the catch.
Okay.
Ezekiel's not allowed to mourn publicly.
Right.
He has to carry on.
Wow.
As if nothing happened.
That's brutal.
It is.
I mean, I get prophets had to do dramatic things, but that seems...
It's definitely a shocking and difficult passage to read.
It is.
But remember, this is symbolic. Ezekiel's personal loss.
Yeah.
His inability to grieve openly. Mm-hmm. It represents the overwhelming grief and devastation that's about to hit Jerusalem.
Oh, wow.
So the destruction will be so complete, so overwhelming, that individual expressions of sorrow will pale in comparison.
So it's like saying the pain you're about to experience as a nation will be so great that even the deepest personal loss won't compare.
It's a pretty bleak picture.
It is.
But even in this darkness...
Okay, there's got to be a but.
There's a glimmer of hope, a deeper purpose.
I was going to say.
God tells Ezekiel, then you will know that I am the Lord. Mm-hmm. It's almost as if in the midst of this unimaginable suffering... there's potential for a deeper understanding.
Okay.
A profound realization of God's presence and power.
So even when things feel utterly hopeless, when we're faced with unimaginable loss, there's still a chance for spiritual growth.
There is.
A deeper connection with the divine.
It's a tough pill to swallow.
It is. It is.
But I can see how it might offer some solace.
Yeah.
In the midst of suffering.
No doubt. A tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
But I think it speaks to the resilience of the human spirit.
Oh, yeah.
Our ability to find meaning and purpose, even in the darkest of times.
Absolutely.
It points toward a theme that we'll see play out in the remaining chapters.
Okay.
That even in the midst of judgment, even when things seem utterly lost, there's always a possibility for restoration and renewal.
Always. Yeah, always a possibility.
You know, as we're unpacking all this heavy stuff about judgment and consequences, It makes me think about that idea of standing in the gap.
Oh, yeah.
That we talked about earlier.
That's a powerful one.
Feels especially relevant right now with all the challenges we're facing in the world.
Yeah, I agree. That image really stuck with me, too.
Like Ezekiel saying, look, things are messed up.
But
don't just sit around and complain.
Right.
Get out there and do something about it.
It's a powerful call to action.
It is.
But it can also feel kind of overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what can one person really do to change things?
I hear that.
Yeah.
It's easy to feel small, powerless in the face of big problems.
For sure.
But I think Ezekiel would say...
What's that?
That even the smallest acts of courage and compassion can make a difference.
So it's not about being a superhero or anything.
Not at all.
It's just about showing up in your own sphere of influence, doing what you can to make things a little bit better.
Even a little bit.
It's not about waiting for someone else to save the day.
Nope.
It's about each of us stepping up.
Okay.
Taking responsibility for the world around us.
I love that.
Me too.
Think about it this way.
Okay.
What if everyone listening to this
committed to doing just one small thing?
To stand in the gap.
Oh, wow.
This week.
I like that.
Could be something as simple as donating to a cause you care about, volunteering your time, or even just having a difficult conversation with someone who needs to hear it.
The ripple effects could be incredible.
It could.
It's a reminder that change doesn't have to be this massive, overwhelming thing.
Right.
It can start with each of us.
I like that.
Making a conscious choice.
To be
a little bit braver.
Okay.
A little bit kinder.
Yeah.
And a little bit more willing to speak up for what we believe in.
And who knows, maybe those small acts of courage and compassion will inspire others to do the same.
Yeah.
Creating a chain reaction of positive change.
That ripples outward.
Transforming our communities and the world around us.
I love that.
So,
as we wrap up this deep dive into Ezekiel, I'm curious.
Yeah.
What would you say are the most important takeaways for our listeners today?
Well, I'd say after going through these chapters, 3 big ideas really stand out.
Okay, lay them on me.
First, there's this unwavering emphasis on God's justice.
Okay.
Ezekiel makes it clear. Actions have consequences. There's a point where even divine patience runs out.
It's a reminder.
Yeah.
We can't just ignore the principles of righteousness and expect to escape the repercussions.
It's not about being punished, really. It's about the natural consequences of our choices, both individually and as a society.
But then there's also this beautiful thread. Of God's mercy.
Woven throughout.
I love that.
It's this constant reminder that even when we mess up,
we all do.
Make choices that hurt ourselves and others.
Right.
There's still possibility for forgiveness and restoration.
There is.
God's desire isn't to punish, but to bring us back to a right relationship with Him.
It's like those second chances we were talking about earlier, those moments of grace that allow us to course correct.
Right.
Get back on track.
And that leads us to the third takeaway.
Okay, what's up?
This ultimate vision. Ooh. Restoration and reconciliation.
Even in the midst of judgment. When things seem hopeless, Ezekiel points toward a future. Where God will restore what's been broken. And make all things new.
It's an incredible message of hope.
It is.
It reminds us that even in the darkest of times, God is still working, still moving, still orchestrating a plan.
For our ultimate good.
Powerful stuff.
It brings everything full circle, doesn't it?
It does.
We start with this warning about the consequences of bad leadership. But then we're reminded, even amidst judgment, there's always possibility for redemption, renewal, a future filled with hope.
I love that.
Really resonates with our human experience.
It does. It's a profoundly human message.
That's why Ezekiel's words continue to speak to us thousands of years later. They remind us we're not alone in our struggles. That there's a higher power at work. And that even in the face of adversity, there's always reason to hope.
And maybe, just maybe, by taking those words to heart, choosing to stand in the gap, fight for what's right, we can help bring about that brighter future.
that Ezekiel envisioned.
That's the challenge, right?
It is a challenge.
Taking these ancient words, applying them to our lives today, finding ways to embody that spirit of justice, mercy, and hope in our own actions and interactions with the